doing another session?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Take your mark.
Welcome to the Coach's Lane. I'm Hannah.
And I'm Sam.
Today, the bulk of our podcast is going to be about how we coach leadership. And then, just like other episodes, we will do an off the deep end section. So, welcome to episode 4.
We're going to start, as we always do, with
Diet Coke. Cheers.
That's good. Every time.
Good stuff. From a coach's perspective and what I specifically try to coach our girls to do, and the boys, really. But to lead, not necessarily from the front, like taking charge, but kind of to be like coming from the back and bringing everybody in all together. So it's the little things like noticing if a teammate's having a bad day, reaching out, being vulnerable with them, telling them things are going to be okay. And a lot of times it is someone who will take the charge and who will give some announcements and who will lead the team to cheer, and someone who will say, get on your feet, let's go. But I do think that is someone, it's a good balance of someone who can take charge and someone who can make sure everybody rises to the occasion.
Yeah, and in my book, too, I don't think that all captains historically have been leaders, and I don't think that all leaders are captains, if that makes sense, too.
I completely agree.
I also have always believed, whether I got to choose how captains were chosen or not, but I've always believed that the high school kids that we're giving these C's or these captainships to, we just expect them to know how to lead, but I've never thought that was the case or that was going to happen. I've always thought that there needed to be some sort of process put in place to help these kids become leaders, which I think we can talk about in a minute, but I do want to talk about one thing before we get to that part. How we choose captains. I've done this a whole bunch of different times, and again, I'll restate, like, captains are not the only leaders, first of all. Everybody can be a leader on the team. Mm-hmm. But the way that we choose captains, because they are a big part of the leadership committee or the leadership groups that we have, has changed a little bit throughout the years that we've done it, right? We've had a couple different ways. You've always had the speech, right? Have we always had the application?
No, that was a 2 years ago thing.
Okay, and then we also have these leadership seminars, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for our program, you have to attend a leadership seminar in the summer, which is either 1 or 2 days. You have to, and if you can't attend it, that's not the end of the world. You just have to do a makeup session with Hannah or I. Then you need to apply. You need to get parent signatures so that they know that you're going to apply to be a leader.
And our application, it's not crazy. It's just general expectations for what we expect, making sure they know that they need to follow the MSHSL rules, they need to follow our team rules, and if they don't do that, their captainship will be revoked. We haven't run into that, but just kind of spelling it out to make sure that they know. The other thing I'll say is I think we've really changed the word captain to being I want to be a captain so I can put it on my resume, or I want to be a captain because our people know that they are not a captain because it's a title.
Yep.
And if it's a title and I think they're a leader, guess what? If you really want to put that on your resume and I think you're a leader, go ahead. You can put captain on your resume.
Yep.
It's fine with me.
They can call me.
So they know that it's a leadership position and not strictly so you can pick out the suit or the clothing for the year. So
which we do with all of our seniors anyways. A lot of those things we just give to the senior class right away. We don't choose captains until the first week of the season. We think it's important for our incoming, our first years or our freshmen and our middle schoolers to at least get to experience some amount of time with the seniors or the juniors that they're choosing to be their captains. So
I also like that then it forces our senior class to have to collaborate with each other.
Yep.
Because they all should have a say in how they want their senior year to be.
Yep.
So our senior class chooses the apparel that they want. They choose the suit that they want, the caps that they want. And they have to work together to do all of that.
Yep. I've done this a lot of ways, right? I've been on teams where it's been done a lot of ways, whether It's chosen. The most common is like announcing captains at the banquet, where it's just the coach's choice. I think that that's pretty common. I am my third year. I think I went captainless, so I had a team of boys with about 10 seniors, I would say. And I went away from captains because I felt that it was going towards the title only. And the hardest part about that year was, to be honest, I didn't know who to go to for the team sounding board.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like we do our weekly captains meetings on Wednesdays this year. We're adding that to get a feel for like where the team is at. And we've always been able to do that. We've always just been able to find the girls, but that year that I did that with the boys, I didn't really know who to go to.
And I think captains are important because then you know that the young classmen know exactly who they can go to that first couple weeks. They'll find their people eventually, but it is nice to know that these are the elected, appointed leaders of our team, chosen by the team, and they are someone you can go to.
Yep. And then the last part, which I didn't agree with, I'll be honest, I didn't agree with at first, and it doesn't really align with our philosophy, but that speech at the end of the first week, we said we didn't want like the captains to just be like in front and leading a group. Uh, but the speech covers a couple different things. One, it is important to be able to talk to your team and in front of your team. And two, as a leader, you're going to have to make sacrifices and do things that you don't necessarily want to do. And there's not a lot of people that love public speaking. So having to make that sacrifice and like work yourself up to doing that thing that might not be your favorite thing to do or might be very nerve wracking, I think is an important thing, because anybody that's like kind of like a fringe, like wanting to apply, I think that is a deterrent in many ways. Like if you're not fully committed to doing this, it can be a deterrent.
I also think that the speech for me is less about getting in front of the team. It's more about needing to take the time to sit down and go through, why do you actually want to be a captain? What are you going to tell your team about why you want to be a captain? Because you're not going to go out and tell your team, I want to be a captain so we can do the apparel.
Yeah.
So just kind of finding deeper meanings as to why they want to. And yeah, like you said, it is important that they are able to kind of talk in front of everyone, but that's not the sole purpose of being a captain. And yeah, I think it's important you see people really step out of their box.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, especially it's fun for us because
Yep.
we've seen them grow from a freshman to a
Yeah.
junior, senior,
Yeah.
and now they're getting in front of their whole team and
Yep.
talking about the captains that they've had before them who have inspired
Mm-hmm.
them to want to be a captain. So I think overall it is a good thing. I like it.
Those speeches every year make me tear up
Yeah.
too.
And this year, I
Surprisingly
think
sometimes.
specifically all of the captain speeches aligned
Yep.
with our core values
Yeah, you
of,
could find hints of family in all of them. You
yep.
could find hints of confidence in all of them, and then positivity.
Hmm.
Those are all like almost like cornerstones for all of the speeches, without really us having to push those words or those values.
Yeah.
So that was really really cool.
Yep.
After the speeches, then all of our athletes will vote. We'll take this year we started doing this a little different. We will take the returning votes first, and we'll take a look and see like, did everybody get enough votes where we feel that all of these leaders or these applicants are going to be beneficial to have as captains. And we kind
And
of,
I think that's important too. We have everyone vote for one person.
yeah.
And I think that just gives us a really easy read
Yep.
of who that person is. And this year specifically, it was across the board.
Yeah.
So it really showed that there was somebody for everyone on this
Yep.
team.
Some of the ones that there was years where we would have like 6 captains. Remember that? Where we didn't really know where to, I guess, cut the number of votes off. But that
Mhm.
year, I think our biggest problem was that we had everybody vote for 3 people,
Mhm.
right? And then we took them in the order. So we got rid of that year, and it just made it a clearer picture afterwards.
Yep.
And I have made, I don't even say incorrect calls, but I guess I've had leaders on my teams in the past. I'm specifically thinking about my 2018 boys. Some of my best leaders were not captains. One person I'm thinking of, one of my best leaders was not a captain. Just like leading behind the scenes, always doing what I wanted to in the pool on time, hard worker, just kind, like all of those things.
Mhm.
So, not always getting it right. We've tried a lot of different things throughout this
Yeah.
process. That
Well, new
you know,
this year that you came up with was that they actually write why they want this person to be a captain, which
yeah,
I thought was super awesome. So then we took a few from each person that was voted and we gave them to the people who were elected captains and said,
yeah,
this is why. And I thought it was pretty cool that, like, one of them said she seems really confident. And I mean, we know behind the scenes, like, you're not always confident all the time. And so it was really cool that she specifically
Yeah.
exudes that.
Yep.
And yeah, it's going to be a great year with these four that we have this year.
It's good to know like what your teammates also like are thinking of too.
Yep.
So
So, Sam, let's go back to our very first leadership seminar.
yeah.
Let's do it.
Yep.
So, our first one, we
We-
really wanted to establish a culture. We wanted
Yeah.
to kind of have a direction for where we were going to go.
Yep.
So, we had different committees.
Yeah, we've made different groups. So we came up with 3 or 4 things that we wanted accomplished on the team, like as simple as making playlists or making warm-up lanes or assigning people to warm-up lanes, uh, team or like locker room signs, things like that.
Yeah, there was like a
And
culture, a unity, and fun, family.
maybe family, something like that.
Yeah.
But those groups, we then put everybody that came, and this leadership seminar was packed. Like we did it, the first one we had in like the back room of a coffee shop, and there were 20 girls. You think there was 20 girls there?
I bet there was.
Yeah.
That was two really. It was a big junior and big senior class.
Yeah. So we had 20 kids show up to this class. Obviously, not everybody is going to be a captain, but it was just a prereq to being there. And they got to choose which group they wanted to be in. We assigned them to those groups, and then we let them go off for a week or so and just do these tasks, right?
Mhm.
But the task was not really what the focus was, if I
Mhm.
remember right.
Yep. We gave them the tasks to hopefully then discover that they needed to work with each other to be leaders.
Yep.
And so when we came back, we did ask them those questions, and they kind of understood that they couldn't do it all alone. They needed to ask for help. They needed to delegate. Someone had to have a voice. Someone had to check in,
Mhm.
make sure things got done.
Communication was super important.
And that was kind of like our quality that we were highlighting that
Yep.
year was communication, especially because we had so many upperclassmen. And then the cool thing too was they figured all that out, but they also got all their tasks done.
Yeah.
So they created like these elaborate presentations to
Yep.
show what they were going to do for the team, and a lot of those things that they came up with,
Yep.
we're still doing.
Yeah, we still have on the team. We still do the warm-up lanes at the beginning of the year, or assigned like warm-up lanes. So like our new incoming like 9th graders and our middle schoolers are swimming with different people every week.
Mhm.
It just like brings the team together. Instead
Yep.
of warming up on ability or warming up just with your friends in the same lane every time, just having those different groups every single day or every single week has been very beneficial.
Yep.
And having somebody make the Spotify playlist is also pretty nice too.
Yeah, that
so
is
that you or
nice.
I don't have to like put ourselves out there and have them listen to our music only.
Yeah.
Even though I feel like they jive with your music pretty closely.
Yeah, it's better.
Hannah Montana on repeat.
Well, not just sometimes.
I know. I'm waiting for the time when that is like when we have groups of girls that don't listen to that at all. You know what I mean?
I know.
Like when those songs are not part of just like the swim and dive playlist.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
We came back together after they did those groups though, right? And then we told them that we're like, look, we just wanted you to work together and do these sorts of things. And then I think we like tried to meet one other time on something. I mean, like maybe it was like a digital communication, like working together with each other without actually meeting.
Yep.
Is what we tried to push. But since that first one, we decided to keep these to one day.
Yep.
Right? 'Cause that was,
And focused on like one topic.
yeah.
Because that one was really elaborate, really broad. They had to work together. They had to actually do something. And now it is more of what I would say like a seminar and a reminder.
Yep.
Because now the girls that we've had on the team have had these leaders that we've kind of coached up.
Yep.
And see them as role models, so they know some of that stuff already. So after that first one, were the cookies our second
Yeah,
one?
cookies were our second one.
Yeah. So then we talked about this in episode one.
Yeah, first episode.
Episode 1, we talked about our leadership seminar where we talked about all the things that make a leader, and we talked about that for us specifically, we really like leaders to have empathy.
Yep.
And we related it to cookies, so empathy was the sugar in a cookie.
Yeah, we related the leadership in general to a cookie. Like you're gonna have all of these different components that make up a leader, and you might be able to have them in different amounts. So sugar, flour, eggs, milk, whatever else.
Yep.
You could have different amounts of those things and still create a leader or create a type of cookie at the end. But some of those things are just essential to having leadership or being a leader or having leadership skills.
So
Like
then,
empathy.
as our reminder to them, we spent some time making little clay cookies that we could put on a keychain.
Mhm.
So each girl has what we call them compassion cookies on their keychain, and it was to serve as a little reminder every single day to always lead with empathy and compassion in all of your interactions.
Yeah, because we said you can be a great leader, but if you lack empathy completely, you're just going to be like an evil. What?
A
Salty,
salty
salty
cookie.
cookie. Yes. You could get people to do stuff, but it's not out of like love or
Yeah.
a place of like goodness.
Yep.
You know. So.
And then this year's was a little bit more laid back because we had a much smaller group of
Yep.
juniors and seniors. So we talked about empathy from just kind of recapping the year previous, but this time we talked about how every interaction can mean something bigger for whoever it's with.
Yep.
So we watched a video of a volunteer firefighter who got a call to go help put out a fire, and by the time he got there, the fire was basically put out. He was the second person to arrive. The first person got there, and the chief was like, "Go in, save the dog." And he's like, the dog. Of course he got to save the dog. And then the chief goes, I need you to go get this woman a pair of shoes.
Yeah, in the middle of the night, she's standing out there like her house is burning, and she just doesn't have any shoes on for this.
So
guy.
he goes in and gets her some shoes, like, I'm not even the hero. I didn't get to save the dog. And later on, it turns out that she writes a letter and says, "Thank you to everybody," and says a specific thank you to the person who got me a pair of shoes.
Mhm.
So whereas he didn't think it was a big moment, it was a really big moment for her. And that's what we talk about with our girls. We want them to understand that their kindness and any interaction they have, especially with a newcomer,
Yeah.
can be a really transformative experience for them and show that
Yep.
they care about them, they care that they're on the team, and we are a family.
Yeah, and you use the example like you've been a first time or a first year swimmer on a team, right? And though like a senior, if you were a senior and you went up to a first year swimmer and you just said like, "Hey, how are you doing?" and just introduced yourself, like that wouldn't be a big deal for the senior, but as the first year, it is a big deal. I mean, I
Mhm.
remember just switching club teams, having some of like the other club swimmers that would like go out and like hang out, and just having one of them just invite me to come along as like a newer person to the club. Like, sure, I was one of 6 people that was just going to Chipotle or whatever, but for me, that was super cool. I was part of the group then.
Yep. So that is how we have coached leadership, and
It's an ongoing process
yeah.
too. Those
Yep.
are nice like things at the beginning, and we need to do a better job at this, I would say. Just continuing these themes throughout the year. This
Yeah.
year, we decided to meet with our captains on Wednesdays, and I still think that with that leadership group, we should make a group me for this year and
Yeah.
still like try to just put reminders.
Send pictures of shoes.
Yeah.
And see who
Yeah.
remembers.
Yep. I think that would be enough.
Yeah. So that's how we coach leadership. Let's do an off the deep end.
All right.
You wanna ask AI?
Yeah, I'll ask AI. You want to remind them how off the deep end works?
Yeah, so first of all, if you have not seen our first Off the Deep End episode, it is in episode 2. But basically, we ask AI for a general topic about high school athletics, coaching high school athletics, being in high school athletics, and we give you our unedited thoughts on the topic.
This says focusing on building team cohesion and communication.
Basically, our whole episode.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about leadership, and that's what we want, like, our leaders to be aware of is cohesion. What are some of the things that the team does, though?
We do so much team bonding.
There
I
are.
think, especially once we elect our captains, they do a really good job of communicating every day after practice when we break it down. They chat with the whole team, so that's a really big piece of communication. They're always offering rides
Yep.
to and from practice, to team bonding events. And I think like our warm up lanes
Yeah,
honestly
I
create
just
a
thought about
lot
that
of
too. Yep.
team cohesiveness and
So we have, and that's for a number of reasons. One, they're in a different warm up lane every single week, and two, for our warm up, we don't write a warm up for the first 6 weeks. We just have like a table.
Options.
I'll put this up on the screen maybe, but we just have a table, and you've got like 4 options for like your just loosen up swims that are all the same yardage, all the same amount of time. Then we've got an underwaters set that you have 4 options. They're all the same yardage, all the same amount of time, but you have 4 options. And then there's 4 speed sets at the very bottom, and they're all the same time, all the same yardage. But the group, like the lane, every day just has to choose which of the 4 options that they're going to do. They have to do a loosen up set, they have to do an underwater set, and they have to do a speed set. But having to collaborate like within that group on something so simple and having that choice, I think, is a beneficial part.
Yep.
Other things, like it seems like we add team building activities every single year. Some of these things have been around so long that my wife did them when she was a swimmer at Sartell. So like the scavenger hunt, and for us, we don't know a whole lot about that scavenger hunt. That's very team ran and like senior ran. But I know for a fact that it is one of the most memorable things that they do because, I mean, you can speak to that, right? Like
Ice cream social.
the ice cream social is another really big one that is just ran by one of the families. They'll just choose the host and it gets everybody together for cool pictures and stuff at the beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And now, what are some of the newer ones?
I also think as simple as our leaders communicating when we're getting in the pool and then everyone getting in the pool 5 seconds apart.
Yeah, cool down
Yeah.
also.
And cool down.
Yeah,
Yep.
talk about cohesion.
Yeah.
Yeah, and no matter what, it could be any time. We could finish a meet at 9:30, and we are doing 850s together on the 115. Nobody's taking pictures. Nobody's getting out. Nobody's pulling lane lines until we're done with those 850s.
Yep.
Have you,
If you like the shirts that we have on here today, the blue with the white,
I think we've got one more left, don't we, Hannah?
we
I
might
think we've got
have
one
one
sitting
more
around.
left. How should our viewers go about getting one?
Comment down below, and we will choose another random comment or another random user that comments and give away a shirt just like this.
Thanks for watching the episode today. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at The Coach's Lane, on TikTok at
Yep,
The Coach's
Coach's
Lane.
Lane.
Subscribe, like, and we'll see you in episode 5.
See ya!